Hi everyone, I'm Kira, Island Socialist on Instagram, and my blog is islandsocialist.com. Today I have a really fun new pattern release to share with you guys, and you're gonna want to stick around because, as you can tell, this dress has some flair. This new pattern is called the April dress, and I was a lucky pattern tester. This is one of my all-time favorite pattern companies, Forget Me Not Patterns. My favorite that I have made so far is the Adeline dress, and now I have a new favorite. This is the April dress. It is a really gorgeous dress. It's actually a pretty simple silhouette, but as you can tell, there's some fun and some flair and some sass to this dress. Obvious main detail is this wavy seam. So fun, and it's a lot easier to construct than you'd think. So it is your basic A-line silhouette, but there are two views. So you have a flat view, which is the one I made, and then there is a gathered view where this wavy seam, the skirt portion, is gathered into the wavy seam of the top portion. And guess what? You can add pockets to both views. You can have pockets within the wavy seam, or you can add pockets to the side seams. I didn't add pockets to mine, and I will get into why when I talk about the fabric. Now, one of the things that I admire about Forget Me Not Patterns is their size range, and also the fact that they usually have different views for different body types, or different versions for different body types. For example, when I made the Sabrina skirt, I remember there was a curvier fit, which is the one that I made. I don't remember the other options, to be honest. I will put them on the screen somewhere, but this is the type of things that Joanna does in her patterns that I just truly appreciate. So for this dress, there is a small bust option, a medium bust option, and a full bust option. And don't worry, in the pattern you would find the size charts with all of the details about how to pick your size and how to pick which bust version you need. If you know anything about me, you know I'm always in between sizes. So I fell in between two number sizes, and I also fell in between two bust views, of course. So I actually chose my size based on the fabric that I knew I was going to use. So I knew that I was going to use fabric that is expected to grow a little bit. So I went with the smaller end of the two sizes, and same for the bust. So I fell in between the medium and full bust, and I went for the medium bust, and then I fell in between the 40 and the 42, and I went with the 40. I didn't feel the need to take the hip into consideration too much, just because of the A-line silhouette and the fact that I was using a very loose weave fabric. There's more than enough room to skim over my hips. So the sizes go from size 28 to 52. So that takes you from a bust of 27.5 to 54.5 inches, and a hip of 32.5 to 56.5 inches. As usual, I will have my measurements in the description box below. So like I said, this is just an A-line silhouette, and we have grown on sleeves, we have some bust darts, and then we have some cute little tucks at the waist. And I will do a little close-up clip to show you what the tucks look like. They're just about maybe 3/4 inch long. I moved my tucks up 1/2 inch to hit at my natural waist instead of shortening the pattern, because I wanted to maintain the distance between the belt and the start of the wavy seam. So you can shorten the pattern. There is a shorten and lengthen line, but I chose not to use that. I just raised my tucks instead. The other changes I made were to lower the bust dart 1/2 inch, and I also did a 1/2 inch sway back adjustment, and those are all the changes I made. Everything else is as is. There are two length options in this pattern. There's a shorter skirt and there's a longer skirt. The longer one, which is the one I made, hits right above the knee, and I am 5'4" for reference. Now let's have a look at the back of the pattern, which is also very simple. I have my belt pinned because Esmeralda is a lot smaller than I am. But at the back you have a back slit with a hook and eye closure. The neckline is finished with a facing, and as you can see, this fabric is pretty sheer. I did not anticipate that it would be this sheer when I purchased this fabric, but since I had already bought it, I just went ahead with it and hope for the best. because I really wanted to do the color blocking for this one. So funny enough, because my fabric is so loose, I can actually fit this over my head without a hook and eye closure. So I actually just tacked the top of the neckline on the inside, on the wrong side where nobody could see. I just have it tacked. I don't have to fight over the hook and eye closure because it fits over my head. So on the front again, you can see where the facing is showing there, but luckily on the body it does not look as bad as it looks here. So the fabric I used is crinkle rayon, which is why there's a little bit of growth and it's a little bit sheer, or a lot of bit sheer. This pattern is designed for light to medium weight wovens and non-stretch wovens, so cotton, linen, rayon, crepe, lawns. I had originally thought of making this in linen, but then when I went to the fabric store, I saw these crinkle rayons and kind of fell in love with them because of the colors that were available. Like, I would not find these colors in linen fabric. So this one is actually like, I think I would call it like a citron color, and then the pink is more on the fuchsia side. It's not really hot pink, it's more on the fuchsia side. Very, very, very flowy and drapey. For the belt, I did make sure to use the interfacing as recommended in the pattern, and this belt is the Gemma belt. Absolutely love this belt. I can see myself making this belt to wear with a lot of other things that have nothing to do with this pattern. It has rounded edges and then you have the little tie that's coming out. It goes really well with the wavy seam, which was the intention. Now for the back slit, it was optional that you could top stitch the opening. I didn't top stitch mine because honestly I just did not want to mess with this fabric too much, so I omitted any sort of top stitching except on the belt because that had interfacing anyway, so that was perfectly fine. Funny enough, these straps were actually not that hard to sew. I was terrified of sewing these very little thin straps, especially in this fabric, but I just sewed mine with paper underneath, tissue paper, and that worked perfectly. So that is a trick for sewing little tiny straps like this in any fabric really, especially if you have to do this in a knit. Tissue paper is a lifesaver. Now of course you don't have to do color blocking like I did. You can do this in one fabric, it's still gonna look really good, but I just wanted to show off the color blocking because I think this pattern is perfect for color blocking. So I actually really want to try the gathered view as well. I just didn't want to gather this fabric. Like I said, I didn't want to manipulate this fabric too much, so I went with the flat view. But I would like to do the gathers as well and try the wavy seam pockets. Now the wavy seam pockets, Johanna has it listed as an advanced technique, so I think it will be a fun challenge to try and do those. I think everyone who tried it during the test did it successfully with no issues, so yeah, that should be a fun challenge. So I'm gonna share some close-up clips with you guys just so that you can see the waist tuck detail that you obviously won't be able to see from so far, and then I'll insert my photos. Let's go. I hope you guys enjoyed those photos. I had so much fun shooting this. I felt like it was giving me fairy tale vibes with the forest in the background. Somehow this was giving me fairy tale vibes. I felt like I was Snow White or something. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I will have all the details about the pattern down in the description box below, the link to purchase and so forth. Also, I'm sure I will have a blog post if you want to check that out as well over at islandsocialist.com. I forgot to mention that another thing I really love about this pattern is that it has size layers, and also there are listings in there for which pages to print for each view so that you don't waste paper and ink. Love when a pattern has all of this information. So yeah, thanks to Johanna for having me on the tester team again. As usual, it was a blast. Love testing for her, and I think her designs are really cute, really different, and I think they work for a lot of different body types. So that is it for me today, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.